Alright guys, so the company Baseus is back after their impressive Inspire lineup last year, which was basically a lineup of headphones, true wireless earbuds, and clip-on style earbuds that were all tuned by Bose. But that also made them a little bit pricier. Now they're back with their newest clip-on style earbud, which is the MC2. These come in retailing at $79, although right now there's a coupon code on Amazon that brings them down to $59. And also this weekend coming up is Amazon's Prime Day deals, which is gonna drop them a little bit more, but I actually plan on including them into my Prime Day wrap-up deal, so I'll talk about that price then. But we're going to basically assess these as a $59 clip-on style earbud. Now they are available in 3 different colors. They're available in black, white, and blue. I like the whole clean look of these. There's a matte finish on the case, so it's not slippery or anything like that. The case does not support Qi wireless charging, so you are going to have to use the included USB-C cable. The earbuds themselves are very comfortable, and obviously in this style of earbud that's extremely important because they're made to be worn all day. And this pair has what Baseus calls their Cloud Comfort 2.0. This essentially is basically like a silicone grip around the part that goes in your ear canal, where before it was just like barely on the tip. This one actually surrounds the whole thing, which do make these very comfortable. There's a lot of flexibility here, so no matter what your ear size is, I don't really have any doubts that you're going to be able to get these to fit comfortably in your ear. And speaking of in your ear, that's kind of, again, the whole point of these is they don't sit down in your ear canal, so it does allow you to hear your surroundings. And they also have redesigned these in a way where they don't leak as much sound. So you can turn these up a little bit louder, and people around you are not going to be able to hear what it is you're listening to. Now this pair, as far as controls, does use touch controls, and I am happy to say that out of the box you do get control over everything, but I did go into the app and switch some things around to get them to do exactly what I want them to do, so it's nice that you're able to do that. And now as far as some of the technology in here, these are using Bluetooth 6.0, so they do support multi-point connection. This pair also supports LDAC, so that makes this a high-res wireless certified pair of earbuds. They are using very large 11mm tri-magnetic drivers. This is a very large driver in something like this. And they've also updated the spatial audio in these. Now that is a feature I don't normally dive deep into because I just don't like spatial audio. And in this pair, I still don't like spatial audio. It's okay for movies and TV shows. Obviously, it gives you a little bit more depth. But for music, I just don't like the kind of reverb effect that it adds to it. But it is there for those that do like this. It also has a low latency mode. So if you are going to use these for movies or gaming, you would switch it into this mode so you don't have to worry about any kind of lag. And then another decision that I like that they've made about these is they now come in rated at IP67. So they've got some very good dust protection and they've got some solid water protection. So you can go out and wear them all day and don't have to worry about sand or dust or rain or sweat or splashes, and if you do just happen to drop them in the water, it's not going to immediately kill your earbuds, so you don't have to worry about your surroundings all the time. You just, again, kind of leave them in and just go about your business. Now, as far as the app, I definitely am going to recommend that you download their app. Obviously, it's how you keep these updated. There's plenty of different EQ options in there. I'm going to go ahead and say this, though. I was extremely impressed with the way that they were EQ'd or tuned out of the box. By default, they also have the bass boost mode switched on. Mixing that with the EQ setting that they have, I kind of felt like already hit the sweet spot. Obviously, within the app, you can also go in and switch them into LDAC mode. But honestly, I preferred them out of LDAC mode. I preferred them just, again, the way that they were tuned out of the box, because I felt like in LDAC mode, it obviously would switch off some things like the bass boost mode, and I just felt like it lost some of the body of the sound, because we'll talk about it a little bit more when we get into the sound, but the bass boost, or what Baseus calls Super Bass 3.0, is actually quite impressive, because not only does it give a pair like this some punchy low end, it also gives it that punchy low end even at lower volumes. So you don't have to like blast these to feel the impact of bass. You can even get it at lower volumes too. Some of the other things that you can do within the app is you can turn the dual device mode on so that it can connect to more than one device. It also has a Find My Earbuds feature. And again, like I said earlier, you can also go within the app and switch around some of your controls. Now, another added feature, and this is something that I think is going to appeal to a lot of people, is they have it where if you download what they call the Tuya, Tuya app, it also gives these some added AI features. It gives it a translation mode so that you can have it translate another language that obviously you don't speak and be able to hear it in your language. There's also an AI notes where it will just take notes from like a conversation, or if you're in a classroom and just have it kind of like break everything down for you. And then there's also an AI chat mode, which is basically like Chat GPT, where you can just ask it random questions and then it'll give you a different kind of feedback, which again, all of that's done within that other app. That's something that's pretty impressive that you're getting in a pair that you can get for only $60. Now, as far as the battery life on the MC2s, this is another area that's quite impressive. If you use these without the LDAC on and you use them at about 50% volume, you can get around 11.5 hours on the earbuds themselves. And with the charging case, you're going to get 55 hours total. And if for some reason you pick them up and the battery is dead, they do have a fast charging feature where a 10-minute charge is going to get you 3 hours of use. So battery life is not an issue with this pair. And that is something that I think companies need to focus a little bit more on in the clip-on or open ear style earbuds. Because if you're making a pair that's made to be worn all day, like while you're at work and while you're around the house and just doing your day-to-day life, you need something that can get you through the full workday, something you don't have to worry about charging in the middle of the day. So Baseus definitely checked that box. Now, as far as using these for taking phone calls, they do have 4 mics total on here, and they are using AI here as well to kind of enhance your voice and also block out like a lot of things around you. And it also has where it's blocking out wind noise, which that's important if you're obviously in a windy environment, but also if you're taking phone calls like while you're running or riding a bike. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a quick test here. So here is a quick mic test outdoors using the MC2s. There definitely is some traffic off to the side that I can hear. There's a little bit of wind, but this is just to give you an idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call. So now let's talk about the sound, because the large drivers that these have mixed with that Super Bass 3.0, and I'm going to talk about these in their normal mode out of the box. This is not with LDAC. This is a very impressive clip-on style earbud. Just simply from a dynamic sound signature, having that boomy, like punchy bass, which does not come in and roll over the mids or the highs. So you've got really good clarity when it comes to vocalists, acoustic instruments, electric instruments. Same thing with the treble, a lot of clarity with the crash of cymbals and things like that. It is a dynamic in-your-face earbud. And normally, you know, from a sound stage and a sound imaging perspective, that usually kind of closes things in. But because of this being an open ear style earbud, there's lots of space in the sound. So it's kind of weird at times because it has that aggressive sound, but it doesn't have that closed-in feel to it. I found that it worked great across all genres. I had no issues with, like, you know, more vocal-driven genres like classical or easy listening or country or something like that. And then switching it over to like pop, hip hop, or metal, it's very fast where it can keep up with like the double bass, the drums, anything with like 808s, anything that's trying to hit a little bit harder. This pair doesn't have any kind of issue with. So again, sound-wise, I was very impressed. You can tell that they definitely kind of borrowed from the XC1s because, you know, those being tuned by Bose, I was really impressed with the sound of those. I thought that those were one of the better sounding clip-on style earbuds, but they came in at a higher price tag. You were paying the Bose tax, where with the MC2s, you're not doing that. In fact, I feel like you're getting that similar experience, but at a lower cost. So to wrap this video up, it's kind of simple. This one's an easy recommendation. Even at the original price of $79, I would recommend them at that. But the fact that you can get them at $20 cheaper right now, and again, even with Prime Day deals, they're going to be a little bit cheaper than that. It's a hell of a value, but that's something that's kind of been the theme with Baseus products that we've checked out in the past. But guys, that wraps up my video on the brand new Baseus MC2. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.